Yeah, like to, first of all, I would like to invite our president, Mr. Nujum Nawaz, to address the people who have joined the session.
Thank you, Sajid. Our respected advisory committee members, senior members of the alumni, OB members from various regions, speaker of the day, Mr. Praveen, TKMC members and friends from various regions, especially for those who have joined us from outside the country, and my dear friends and children. Good morning. This is actually the second section that we're having under the guidance of the mentoring and placement cell that is headed by Unisar and Sajid. We had a session in February that was on discussion on career success. And we will have many more workshops and trainings under this placements and mentoring cell. Without much of your time, in one word, I welcome you all to this session. On behalf of the TKMCE UAE Chapter, its office bearers, and the mentoring and placement cell. To introduce the speaker of the day, I welcome the host, Mr. Sajid, to take over and to introduce the speaker. Over to you, Sajid. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jujumka. Before I introduce the speaker for the day, I would like to brief you all on the ground rules for the session. The session will be divided into two halves, where for the first 45 minutes, the speaker will present the topic, how should parents help children in career planning for the new world? During this time, we request all of you to mute yourself. And in case you have any queries, just please put it on the chat box. All relevant queries will be addressed by the speaker during the Q&A session. You're also free to ask questions directly to the speaker during the Q&A session. Few words about the speaker for today. He is Mr. Praveen Parameswar. Praveen is the originator and proponent of 5 influential models in career planning. He founded and nurtured his own brand, which is called Lifology, where he focuses on transforming the guardians from ordinary parents to super parents. According to him, parents do play a major role in the career planning for their children. And Praveen aims to empower the parents to lead children to the right education, career, and future. Coming to his educational background, Praveen pursued his bachelor's degree in legislative law from the University of Kerala and PGDL from ICFI. He then attended MBA from Cardiff University in UK, where he won the Sir Julian Hodge Award for the best performance in human resource. Furthermore, he attended the London School of Economics to receive a certification in strategic management. Coming to his achievements, along with being a well-known TEDx speaker, he is also the proud author of the book, Thinking Beyond the Paradigms, Debunking 10 Myths in Youth. Also, his brand, Lifology, holds the Guinness World Record for most people taking a career assessment, where around 2,077 students took the test on January 16, 2018 in Tirunelveli. The results were also declared on the same day. While we do not intend to break any records today, we certainly hope that today's session will serve as an eye-opener to a lot of our parents. And this will empower them in guiding their children to a successful career path. Over to you, Praveen.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sajid. I believe I'm audible to you all.
Yep.
Yeah. So give me a minute. Okay. So very good morning to all of you. So thank you very much for giving an opportunity to interact with each one from the TK alumni community in the UAE and across the Middle East. So, and also the friends. So I perfectly understand the value of this platform, and I perfectly understand the value of your time. So we'll try to show justice for the time you are spending with me today over this session. So when Sajid was introducing, so he was talking about lifology. So when I start, I think it's better to give you a very quick idea of what we do. And for that, I'm sharing a video with you, which is a short one, which give you comprehensive understanding of what we do. Okay, just playing it. It's a 2-minute, 50 seconds video.
Ideas become phenomenal.
I believe it's audible, right? To you, Sajid?
Yep. Yep.
When they solve the world's toughest problems. Today, knowledge is at your fingertips. Distance has become a myth. The globe is tightly wired. Humans conquer the universe. Life experiences novelty. But then, the amount of meaninglessness in the world is scary. People are unhappy, not fulfilled, and without purpose. It's time we find a solution. Reason Decoded. 1/3 of our life we spend in career. But 95% of people reach the wrong career in the first attempt. This makes them unemployable, less competitive, incompetent, and low-income earners. Life becomes miserable. How can people be happy, fulfilled, and find purpose in life? We need change, transformation, a revolution. Based on decades of experience in the realm of human development, after a series of workshops, trainings, discussions, deliberations, researches, and debates, Lifology introduces world's first technology project to lead children to a meaningful future where they enjoy happiness and fulfillment in life. We intervene early, right from school. Our cutting-edge liphometric assessments help students understand themselves better on various aspects: personality, learning style, communication, interpersonal skills, team dynamics, leadership, motivators, grit, and much, much more. The artificial intelligence algorithms of the system map their fitment towards ideal global careers. Expand horizons with exposure to 198,000 plus courses from 17,000 universities, 15,000 scholarships, and 1,200 plus career tracks across 6 continents. The power of augmented reality is used to introduce the world of career to children in the most exciting manner. The world's best career coaches are waiting to handhold our children in their journey. They don't give you outright solutions, but they do help you take right decisions. Lifology hosts the world's best mentors, global career experts, and corporate stalwarts who are ever ready to share their lifetime experience and lead children in the right direction. To top it all, we have an exclusive grand team of Royal Marine Commandos, Everest explorers, mindfulness gurus, skilled trainers, all lined up on the technology platform to empower children with 21st century skills. The efforts never ends. This could go on to be the ultimate game changer for the world. The first ever technology project in the world to lead children to a meaningful future. The right blend of global happiness agenda, technology, and education.
Yeah, this is what we do. And today the orientation is mostly for parents. So as Sajid said, so let me make 3 points. Number one, I would be taking around 30 to 40 minutes to share some thoughts with you. And any questions you have, you can put it into the chat box. And after that, we can, we can interact. Second point, so don't expect a power-packed, fun-filled, joke-filled interactive session from me. So normally my sessions would be a bit boring, bit dragging, bit academic in nature. So be ready to bear that. So normally it's a good note to say, like, it's going to be a power-packed session. It's going to be a funny session, but I may not be good at leading such a session. So get ready to be bored, and it's your responsibility to keep you awake. I won't be cracking jokes in between to keep you awake. And number three, so whatever I'm going to share with you is my current understanding, so that I don't have the claim that this is the ultimate right. So if you have a different point of view, if you have a different experience, or if your life is teaching you something different, I'm open to learn from you also. So just take it as a discussion, and whatever I'm seeing now is a platform, or creating a platform to discuss between ourselves after these 40 minutes. So these are some of the points I wanted to share with you before we start. And the interaction. So I crafted the interaction in a Q&A model. That doesn't mean that the Q&A between us. So I just listed down a set of questions normally come into the mind of parents, and I'm trying to answer these questions through the presentation. So that would be the way the presentation will be going forward. Fine. Okay. So let me share my screen with you now. So this is the first question I want to address, because the session is on how exactly parents can help children to plan career in the new world. But let me start with a question. Should parents intervene in the career planning of children? Why this question? Because I have seen two ends, whereas one end is the people who are imposing their choices of career on children. They're becoming super bullying in nature and being super powerful people who are imposing their thoughts on career on top of children. That is on one end. But on the other end, so nowadays, the new generation parents who are mostly into their 40s now, and their kids are into the teenage now, so they are becoming super liberal, whereas so they really don't want to intervene in the career decision making or career planning of children. So normally when they bring children for career counseling or interaction, so they leave the kid and move out and say that it is their career, let them decide. So it is an emerging thought in this part of the world, in the eastern part of the world, which is influenced by the age-old Western thought, not the current one. The should parents intervene in the career planning of children? Before saying should or should not, let me list down, or let me share a couple of facts with you. You might all heard about this particular report. Oxford Martin School, the engineering wing of Oxford University, published a report in 2013, co-authored by Dr. Michael Osborne, the professor of machine learning at Oxford Martin School. The title of the report is Future of Employability Report. Idil nunnalla quote ആണ് most of the speakers shared during their speeches, like 47% of people, jobs would not be there in future during the 2030s and 2040s. So the world will be facing new jobs, or will be experiencing new kind of jobs. ഇനി നിലനിൽക്കുന്ന ജോലികളുടെ തന്നെ രൂപവും ഭാവവും എല്ലാം മാറുന്നുണ്ടാവും. So this was predicted by Oxford Martin School. And this is another one, a report published quite recently. It's 2019 by the OECD Employment Outlook Department. And the report title is The Future of Work. And this report is arguing so എന്താണ് ഫ്യൂച്ചറിന്റെ കരിയറിൽ ഉണ്ടാവാൻ പോകുന്ന മാറ്റം, ജോബിൽ ഉണ്ടാവാൻ പോകുന്ന മാറ്റം, സ്കിൽസിൽ ഉണ്ടാവാൻ പോകുന്ന മാറ്റം, how exactly people should be choosing and planning their career. So this is by OECD. And this is another one. So 2030ലേക്ക് എത്തുമ്പോൾ ഡിഫറെന്റ് സെക്ടേഴ്സിൽ ഉണ്ടാവുന്ന ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റീസും അതിലുണ്ടാവുന്ന മാറ്റങ്ങളെയൊക്കെ കുറിച്ചിട്ട് McKinsey പുറത്തിറക്കിയിരിക്കുന്ന ഒരു പഠനമാണ് ഇതില്. സോ ഇനി ഈ പഠനങ്ങൾ മാത്രമല്ല, ഓക്സ്ഫോർഡോ മെക്കിൻസിയോ OECDയോ ഒക്കെ ഫ്യൂച്ചറിനെ കുറിച്ച് നടത്തുന്ന പഠനങ്ങൾ മാത്രമല്ല, ഈവൻ ദ കൺട്രീസ് ആർ nowadays appointing consultants to help them plan in creating jobs and managing youth towards the right jobs. So this is one example, as most of you are from UAE. So UAE has a consultant, Mr. Henry Counchil, so who is acting as a consultant for more than 27 countries. And in my understanding, so the UAE granted him some award in the title Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum Knowledge Award as well. And he is searching the government, helping the government of UAE in crafting the right employment policies. And what you see on the second slide now is the Twitter competition between the some people who are supporting Zuckerberg and Elon Musk, whereas Elon Musk is saying, I have talked to Mark about this and his understanding of AI is very limited. That means even the top players in the technology industry is competing between each other, saying what exactly artificial intelligence is. So they are also not very clear or agreeing on the same path, like what exactly is artificial intelligence and how exactly that's going to impact the world. And another one, even the Western universities. നമ്മൾ പലപ്പോഴും പറയാറുണ്ട് വെസ്റ്റേൺ വേൾഡിലാണ് പാരന്റ്സ് അധികം കുട്ടികളുടെ ലൈഫിൽ നിന്ന് ഇന്റർവ്യൂൻ ചെയ്യാത്തതെന്ന്. സോ ദ വെസ്റ്റേൺ വേൾഡിലെ വളരെ പ്രശസ്തമായിട്ടുള്ള യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റികളിൽ ഒന്നാണ് യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റി ഓഫ് വാർവിക് in the UK. So they are deeply studying University of Derby, University of Cambridge. They are deeply studying the role of parents in the career decision making of children. That is the reason. So many of us have a thought in mind: should parent intervene in the career planning of children? Appo endha ee career planning? Oxford പഠിച്ചിട്ടും ക്ലാരിറ്റിയിലേക്ക് എത്താത്ത, OECDക്കും ക്ലാരിറ്റിയിലേക്ക് എത്താൻ കഴിയാത്ത, മെക്കിൻസിക്ക് ഡിഫറിംഗ് ഒപ്പീനിയൻസ് ഉള്ള, രാജ്യങ്ങൾ പോലും കൺസൾട്ടൻസിനെ വെച്ച് മനസ്സിലാക്കാൻ ശ്രമിക്കുന്ന, ഭീമന്മാരായിട്ടുള്ള കമ്പനികളുടെ ഓണേഴ്സിന് പോലും ഇനിയും കൃത്യമായി കോംപ്രിഹെൻഡ് ചെയ്യാൻ കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ടില്ലാത്ത ഫ്യൂച്ചറിനെ കുറിച്ച്, വെസ്റ്റേൺ വേൾഡ് ഇതുവരെയും ചിന്തിച്ചിട്ടില്ലാത്ത രീതിയിൽ പാരന്റ്സിന് ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻസ് കൊടുക്കുന്ന ലോകത്താണ് നമ്മൾ നമ്മുടെ 13, 12, 14 വയസ്സുള്ള കുട്ടികൾ അവരുടെ ഭാവി തനിയെ അങ്ങ് തീരുമാനിച്ചോട്ടെ, അതിൽ ഇനി നമ്മൾ ഇടപെടുന്ന എന്തിനാണ്, അവരുടെ ലൈഫ് അല്ലേ എന്ന രീതിയിൽ ചിന്തിക്കുന്നത്. സോ നൗ based on these facts, so I would like to share with you my personal perspective that parents should intervene strongly in the career planning of children, not even lightly, very, very strongly. Why? Because they are children having 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 years of age, and they may not be able to comprehend the entire factors going around the world alone, and they need your support for sure. So should parents intervene in the career planning of children? The facts around the world indicate to the urgency for that, or the facts around the world or the dynamic system around the world is demanding strong intervention from parents. That's my first point. Now, the second question. Why many people or experts or parents say it is their life, I mean children's life, children's future, children's career, let's parent don't interfere or intervene. So എന്തുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഇങ്ങനെ പറയുന്നതെന്ന് ചിന്തിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടോ? അതിന്റെ ഒരു മെയിൻ റീസൺ ഇതായിരുന്നു. നമ്മുടെ ഒരു സമയത്തുള്ള ഇപ്പോഴും പല സ്ഥലത്തെയും പാരന്റ്സിന്റെ ഇന്റർവെൻഷൻ, ഒരു സൂപ്പർ ഡോമിനേഷൻ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്ന ഒരു സമയം ഇപ്പൊ കുറഞ്ഞു വരുന്നു, ഉണ്ടായിരുന്ന ഒരു സമയം ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. എന്നാൽ നമ്മൾ അതിനെ ക്രിട്ടിസൈസ് ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞപ്പോ നാച്ചുറലി our brain think in a very dichotomic manner, അല്ലെ? സോ നമുക്ക് എപ്പോഴും ബ്ലാക്കും വൈറ്റേ ഉള്ളൂ. ഒന്നുകിൽ കുട്ടികളുടെ ലൈഫിലേക്ക് ഭയങ്കരമായിട്ട് ഇന്റർവ്യൂ ചെയ്യണം, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ കൈ മൊത്തത്തിൽ അങ്ങ് എടുക്കണം. സോ അപ്പോ കുട്ടികളുടെ ലൈഫിൽ പാരന്റ്സ് ഇന്റർവീൻ ചെയ്യുന്നു എന്നതൊരു പ്രോബ്ലമായ ഡിസ്കഷൻസ് ഇവോൾവ് ചെയ്തപ്പോ, ക്രിറ്റിസിസംസ് പല സ്ഥലത്തു നിന്ന് വന്നപ്പോ, ഒരു ഫാഷനബിൾ മോഡലിൽ ന്യൂ ജനറേഷൻ പാരന്റ്സിലേക്കും ഇന്നത്തെ കാലത്തും എത്തിയ ഒരു വഴി എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് അവരായി അവരുടെ പാടായി അവർ അവരുടെ കരിയർ ഡിസൈഡ് ചെയ്തോട്ടെ, ലെറ്റ്സ് നോട്ട് ഇന്റർവീൻ. ബിക്കോസ് ഇതാണ് ഈ ഒരു ഫാൾസ് ഡൈക്കോട്ടമിയിലാണ് നമ്മുടെ ബ്രെയിൻ പലപ്പോഴും വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. വി ഓൾവേസ് തിങ്ക് ഇൻ ബ്ലാക്ക് ഓർ വൈറ്റ്. നമ്മുടെ പൊളിറ്റിക്കൽ ഡിസ്കഷൻസ് ഒക്കെ കണ്ടിട്ടില്ല, either that person is a culprit or a fully that person need to be acquitted. There is nothing in between. Either that political party is good or bad. There is nothing in between. So ഈ ഒരു false dichotomyയിലാണ് നമ്മൾ ഇപ്പോഴും പാരന്റ്സിന്റെ ഇന്റർവെൻഷൻ ഇൻ കരിയർ പ്ലാനിങ് ഓഫ് ചിൽഡ്രനെ കാണുന്നത്. But the fact is, the reality is, there is a spectrum of gray shades where many things lies in our life. So it is extremely important to understand, പലപ്പോഴും ഇത് അവരുടെ ലൈഫാണ്, അതിൽ ഇടപെടണ്ട എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് നമ്മൾ ഈ വില്ലൻ വേഷം ഓഫ് പാരന്റ്സിനെ കണ്ടുകൊണ്ട്. പക്ഷേ അതിന്റെ സൊല്യൂഷൻ ഇറ്റ്സ് നോട്ട് ടേക്കിംഗ് ഹാൻഡ്സ് ഓഫ്, ബട്ട് ദ സൊല്യൂഷൻ ഇസ് മോസ്റ്റ്ലി ടു കീപ് യുവർ സെൽഫ് ഓൺ ദ ഗ്രേ പാർട്ട്, നോട്ട് ഓൺ ദ ബ്ലാക്ക് ഓർ ഓൺ ദ വൈറ്റ് പാർട്ട്. സോ ഇതാണ് ദ സെക്കൻഡ് പോയിന്റ് വിച്ച് ഐ വാണ്ട് ടു മേക്ക് ടു യു. അപ്പൊ ഒരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ നമ്മുടെ മനസ്സിൽ വരും, then what is the role of parents in the career planning process of children എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ഒരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ നമ്മുടെ മനസ്സിൽ വരും. So I would say the role is not an impulsive, the role is not a person who is giving full liberty, but that role is mostly like നമുക്കൊരു കാലത്ത് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്ന വാക്ക് വെച്ച് ഒരു ഗുരു എന്നോ ഒരു കോർപ്പറേറ്റ് വേൾഡിൽ ഒരു കോച്ച് എന്നോ ഒക്കെ പറയാൻ പറ്റുന്നതാണ് യഥാർത്ഥത്തിൽ ഒരു പാരന്റിന്റെ. സോ നല്ല ഡിസ്കഷൻസ് നടത്തുന്ന, ഓപ്പൺ ആയി ഡിസ്കഷൻസിനുള്ള ഇക്കോസിസ്റ്റം ക്രിയേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്ന, സോ ഒരു സ്റ്റുഡന്റിന്, ഒരു ടീനേജർക്ക്, ഒരു കുട്ടിക്ക് വേണ്ട സമയത്ത് കാര്യങ്ങൾ കൊടുക്കുന്ന, ചില കാര്യങ്ങൾ അവന് വേണ്ടതായിട്ടുണ്ട് എന്ന് അവന് മനസ്സിലാക്കി കൊടുക്കുന്ന രീതിയിൽ കോൺവെർസേഷൻ നടത്താൻ കഴിയുന്ന ഒരു കോച്ച്, ഒരു a person, because like so you have already traveled the way which your children are going to travel now, and the parents carry a bundle of, നമ്മൾ പലപ്പോഴും ടീച്ചേഴ്സിനെ പറയാറില്ലേ, സോ ഇപ്പോ ഈ ലേണിംഗിന്റെയും മൂക്സിന്റെയും മാസീവ് ഓപ്പൺ ഓൺലൈൻ കോഴ്സസിന്റെയും ഒക്കെ ഡിസ്കഷൻസ് നടക്കുമ്പോൾ പലപ്പോഴും മെനി പീപ്പിൾ സേ ദ നോളജ് ക്യാൻ ബി ആക്സസ് ത്രൂ ഇന്റർനെറ്റ്, then what's the relevance of the teacher? So the knowledge can be accessed over videos or like PowerPoints. Then why should we go to universities, or why should we go to the schools? But adu palappudum teacher oru knowledge provide cheyyuna aalanu nammal കാണുന്നത് കൊണ്ടാണ്. There is another side. Teacher, oru nalla teacher might be some of your teachers who are or were in your engineering college or even before, or some of you may be teachers now, or നിങ്ങളുടെ കുട്ടികളുടെ ടീച്ചേഴ്സുമായിട്ട് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് അതിനെ റിഫ്ലക്ട് ചെയ്ത് നോക്കാം. പലപ്പോഴും ഒരു ടീച്ചറുടെ അടുത്ത് ഒരു കുട്ടി പോകേണ്ടത് അയാൾ കൊടുക്കുന്ന ഇൻഫർമേഷൻ കിട്ടാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ടല്ലല്ലോ, മറിച്ച് ആ ഇൻഫർമേഷനെ ആ ടീച്ചറുടെ 10 or 20 or 30 ഒക്കെ ഇയേഴ്സിന്റെ എക്സ്പീരിയൻസിലൂടെ കടത്തിയെടുക്കുമ്പോൾ അതിൽ നിന്ന് കിട്ടുന്ന ഒരു ലേണിംഗ്, ഒരു വിസ്ഡം കിട്ടാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ് പലപ്പോഴും എന്ത് ചെയ്യുന്നത്, നമ്മളൊരു ടീച്ചറുടെ അടുത്തേക്ക് പോകുന്നത്. ഇൻ ദ സിമിലർ വേ ദ പാരന്റ്സ് ഒരു അഡ്വൈസർ ആവുക എന്നുള്ളതല്ല, മറിച്ച് യു ഓൾ ഗൈസ് ക്യാരി എ ബണ്ടിൽ ഓഫ് എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ഫ്രം യുവർ ലൈഫ്, അപ്സ് ഡൗൺസ്, സീയിങ് അപ്പ് ആൻഡ് ഡൗൺസ്, ബീങ് പാർട്ട് ഓഫ് അപ്സ് ആൻഡ് ഡൗൺസ്, ബീങ് പാർട്ട് ഓഫ് വേരിയസ് കരിയർ ചേഞ്ചസ്, ബീങ് പാർട്ട് ഓഫ് വേരിയസ് കോർപ്പറേറ്റ് എംപ്ലോയ്മെന്റ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഓൺടർപ്രണർഷിപ്പ്. സോ ഇതിന്റെയൊക്കെ ഭാഗമായിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു ബണ്ടിൽ ഓഫ് എക്സ്പീരിയൻസുമായിട്ടാണ് നിങ്ങൾ ഇരിക്കുന്നത്. നിങ്ങൾ ട്രാവൽ ചെയ്ത ഏതാണ്ട് കഥയെ പോലുള്ള വഴിയിലൂടെ തന്നെയാണ് കുട്ടികളും ട്രാവൽ ചെയ്യാൻ പോകുന്നത്. സോ യു ഷുഡ് ബി സിറ്റിംഗ് വിത്ത് ദം ബൈ ക്യാരിയിങ് ദ ബണ്ടിൽ ഓഫ് എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ്, ബട്ട് നോട്ട് ബിക്കമിങ് arrogant because of that, but being humble and carry the bundle of experience and trigger the right discussions and make them enthusiastic to learn. So our coach in ഒരു റോൾ ആയിരിക്കും പലപ്പോഴും ഒരു പാരന്റ് ഒരു കുട്ടിയുടെ അടുത്ത് എടുക്കേണ്ടി വരിക. അപ്പൊ പാരന്റിന്റെ മനസ്സിൽ വരുന്ന വേറൊരു ചോദ്യമുണ്ട്. Today's children learn more than what parents know. Then why parents should support children in decision making on career? ഇതൊരു ഭയങ്കര പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ആണ്. ഒരുപാട് പാരന്റ്സ് ഭയങ്കര പ്രൗഡ് ആയിട്ട് പറയാറുണ്ട്, ഞങ്ങളെ കാര്യമൊക്കെ കുട്ടിക്ക് ഒരുപാട് കാര്യങ്ങൾ അറിയാം, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ദാറ്റ്സ് വെരി ഗുഡ്, ദാറ്റ്സ് വെരി വെരി ഗുഡ്. അപ്പൊ നമ്മൾ ഇനി അതിനകത്ത് ഇടപെടേണ്ട കാര്യമില്ല. അവന്റെ ലൈഫാണ്, അവന്റെ കാര്യമാണ്, ഇവിടെ നടക്കുന്ന കാര്യങ്ങൾ എന്താന്നൊക്കെ ഉള്ളത് അവനാ അറിയുന്നത്. അവൻ ടെക്നോളജിയിൽ ഭയങ്കര മിടുക്കനാണ്, അവൻ ഗെയിം കളിക്കുന്നത് ഞാൻ കാണാറുണ്ട്, ഡിസ്കൗണ്ടിൽ ചാറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് ഞാൻ കാണാറുണ്ട്, എനിക്കറിയാത്ത ഒരുപാട് ആപ്പ് അവൻ ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. അപ്പൊ ഹി നോസ് ദ വേൾഡ് ബെറ്റർ ദാൻ വാട്ട് ഐ നോ. സോ ദെൻ വൈ ഷുഡ് ബി സപ്പോർട്ട്? ഇതിനൊരു not a theoretical answer, but let me bring a picture, a very famous picture to you. So at least some of you or most of you would be identifying who these people are. Just pay some attention. A person is teaching cricket to a teenager. And now you should be understanding who this is. Ramalkar Dancharkar were never ever as good as a cricket player like Sachin Tendulkar is. He was never ever a perfect player like Sachin was or Sachin is. And he was never ever physically fit like Sachin is. But still, he was a coach to Sachin because he has seen more life, he has seen more games, he has observed cricket through a different angle, and he has seen different levels of cricket. So capitalize, and he knew very well how to coach a person. So to coach a person, the coach need not be more talented than the coach. The coach need not be more knowledgeable than the coachee. The coach need not be more expert than the coachee. The coach just need to be having the talent to guide the person forward or shower the lights at the right spot. So that's what exactly the coach should do. അപ്പൊ നമ്മുടെ കുട്ടികളെക്കാളും കുറച്ചറിയാമായിരുന്നാലും ടെക്നോളജിയിൽ അത്ര പിടിപാടൊന്നും ഇല്ലെങ്കിലും സോ നമുക്കും അവരുടെ കോച്ച് ആവാൻ പറ്റും, because what we have is the experience we have in our lifetime. ഇനി ഈ പറയുന്ന പെർട്ടിക്കുലർ ടെർമിനോളജി, ആ പെർട്ടിക്കുലർ ആർഗ്യുമെന്റിനോട് എനിക്ക് ഒരു പേഴ്സണൽ എതിർപ്പുണ്ട്. കാരണം ഐ റിയലി ഡോണ്ട് തിങ്ക് ദാറ്റ് ചിൽഡ്രൻ നോ എ ലോട്ട്. ഓക്കെ, സോ പലപ്പോഴും കൂടുതൽ വീഡിയോ ഗെയിം കളിക്കുന്നതും ഡിസ്കൗണ്ടിലെ ചാറ്റിങ്ങും അല്ലെങ്കിൽ കുറച്ച് ജാർഗൻസും ഒക്കെ പറയുന്നത് കേട്ടിട്ട് സോ വി പാരന്റ്സ് തിങ്ക് ലൈക്ക് ദി നോ എ ലോട്ട്. അതെന്ന് പറയുന്നത് പണ്ട് മൊബൈലൊക്കെ ഇറങ്ങിയ സമയത്ത് സോ അപ്പൂപ്പന്റെ കയ്യിലിരിക്കുന്ന മൊബൈലില് സ്വിച്ച് മാറ്റിയിട്ട് അത് ലൗഡർ ആക്കി കൊടുക്കുമ്പോഴത്തേക്കും എന്റെ കൊച്ചുമോൻ ടെക്നോളജിയിൽ ഭയങ്കര പുലിയാന്ന് അപ്പൂപ്പൻ പറയുന്നത് പോലെ മാത്രമാണെന്നാണ് ഞാൻ മനസ്സിലാക്കുന്നത്. ബിക്കോസ് ഐ റിയലി ടു from my experience. So over the last around 4 years time, I have traveled to minimum 6 countries to visit the school and to know about The education system there interacted with the children, and we currently work with children from more than 1,400 schools. And even in UAE, we work with more than 30 schools, and in the Middle East, we work with around 60 plus schools. So I do have very continuous and constant interaction with teenagers, and I do believe they are yet to understand the complexity of the changes happening in the career spectrum, and what they know is just the peripheral of what is happening around. And that is as same as we used to know how to change the the silent button to the loud button, and our grandparents used to say that my grandchild is exceptionally good in technology. That's it. So but even though your children know a lot, that is absolutely fine. I was just making a general comment on that. But even if your children know a lot, still you can be a valid coach for them, because Ramakant Charikar was never ever a better cricket player than Sachin. And now the next question, then what is the role? I told you that parents should intervene. I told you that, like, you don't believe in the black and white dichotomy, but there is a gray matter in between. And I also told that that gray matter is being a coach. And I also mentioned you can be a coach irrespective of the knowledge level of your child. But now the fifth question comes, what should we do? I mean, what should parents do? And this is the most important question, I would say. The most important question. And here is where parents make mistakes. So what parents should do is not to impose your dreams, is not to be biased based on your experience, not to stretch your life to your children's life. But what you should do is, you should be people who are helping them align these 3 P's in their life. Okay, these 3 P's in their life: passion, personality, and possibility. Possibility means number of opportunities. A person can perform great in a career if all these 3 P's are on the same line: passion, personality, and possibility. If all these 3 P's, I'm getting into a career which is my passion, which my personality is in suit with, and there are enough opportunities around me to get a job. So if these 3 P's are in the straight in one line, so I would be able to enjoy my career. I mean, I don't even feel that I'm working for a day, and I really feel that I'm enjoying my life. So if these 3 P's are in line, so the responsibility of parents is, listen to this line, what I'm saying now, your responsibility is help your child understand and be aware of. Help your child to understand and be aware of these 3 P's and get the 3 P's aligned to the maximum. I repeat, help your child understand and be aware of these 3 P's and help him or her align all the 3 P's or to the maximum. This is what exactly the role of a parent is, being a coach. And now comes the question, 6th question, which P to be given with more importance, passion or personality or possibility? And I would say the scenario decides. Based on different scenario, it should be absolutely different. Let me present 3 scenarios in front of you now. You should give importance to passion. If the child is really passionate on any specific career, you can give importance to passion. But you should ensure there is no drastic personality non-alignment. Example, the child wants to be an engineer, an IT professional, but the logical intelligence of the child, the analytical ability of the child, the mathematical intelligence of the child, I'm not saying calculation ability, but the mathematical intelligence of the child is extremely less. Even if that's a passion of the child, if he's getting into the competitive spectrum of jobs in the IT industry, so they may not be able to compete with others. So it is extremely important at least to make them aware of the problem. But if they're not becoming aware of the problem, then you need to give him some or her some kind of remedial training programs or remedial orientation programs to improve or to enhance these personality traits. But if the child is really passionate on a specific career, you can surely guide the person towards that career. But you should also think about the possibilities. Example, some children are exceptionally example. So let's take an example of a child who is very passionate to be a forensic expert. But the number of opportunities across the world for forensic experts is not that promising. So only if a person is completing their master's and maybe PhD, so that means by spending around 3 years plus 2 years plus 1 year plus another 3 years, around 10 years of continuous education, that also from the premium institutes, so that person would get some job, some entry-level job in forensic science, because the number of opportunities is extremely less. So if your child is so passionate to be into forensic science and want to build up a career, you should make them aware of this challenge as well. So what I'm trying to say is, you can give importance to passion if your child is really passionate about any specific career, but make sure so there is no drastic personality non-alignment. If there is a non-alignment, still the child want to pursue passion, still you want to encourage the child, you need to come up with some remedial measures for that. And also think about the number of opportunities, because number of opportunities is a reality. It is extremely important to keep a note on that as well. And when I make a comment on, okay, let me keep the first scenario there. The second scenario, if the child and the family is ready to explore for the best fit career, you need to give more importance to personality. Got it? If the child is not strictly passionate about something and ready to explore, and you have the capability to support the child to explore openly, you can go for a personality understanding of the child and can align the careers which are suitable for the child in terms of personality, so that they can perform it easily. So this is the occasion whereas this P or personality to be given with more importance. And now comes the third question, the third scenario, where exactly the where exactly passion to be, more importance. Simple. Possibility is given with more importance if getting a job is extremely important for survival. If getting a job is extremely important for survival of the person and the family, and the person is trying to follow or chase passion, that's just like you are taking a lottery. Because I have another perspective to share with you, a perspective. So passion is an extremely over-celebrated word many times. Whenever we go for public speeches, you get more claps from the gallery when you play the shot to the gallery, saying that it's your passion, it's your life, it's your dream, go and chase it and never mind about the world, and the entire world is conspired to take you to the position to achieve your dream or your passion. But it doesn't work always like that. It is many times we go for a stereotypic extrapolating of some experiences of some people, saying as the Bill Gates or Steve Jobs, saying that these guys would drop out and they are super passionate about what they were doing, so they were chasing passion and they become so successful in life. But we knowingly or unknowingly hide the fact that Bill Gates is a dropout, but a dropout from Harvard Law School, and a person with an exceptional IQ who scored 1,590 out of 1,600 in his SAT or SAT exams, that we purposely or purposelessly hide, and we just follow the over-aerated, the over-celebrated word passion. The passion is not as beautiful as what we think, because I have personally seen many people who try to chase the passion, and I would say the majority is people who try to chase the passion and fail in that. So it is okay to chase the passion, but we need to understand our ecosystem. We need to understand the reality as well. So keep our feet on earth and then try to chase passion is extremely important. And we need to train our children also to do that. So if you ask me the question, which P to be given with more importance, passion or personality or possibility, I would say all these 3 P's are equally important. First point. Second point, it is ideal and appropriate if you can help your child to find a career which is having a blend of all these 3 P's, then the child will be super passionate and super fortunate. But the third point is, if you're not able to align all the 3 P's, and at a point whereas you need to give importance to any one among these 3 P's, you need to consider it based on the scenario. And these are only 3 scenarios I listed, more scenarios which you can think and ponder more. I believe that's clear. And now, I was telling about 3 P's, right? And the first P is passion. And here the question is how to find the real passion of your child. How exactly you can help your child to find the real passion. Because before start exploring more into the spectrum of career, I was also of an assumption that career passion, ഒരുപാട് ആൾക്കാർക്ക് നമുക്ക് പാഷൻ ഉണ്ട്, പക്ഷേ പാഷൻ ചേസ് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് പാരന്റ്സ് അനുവദിക്കുന്നില്ല, പാഷൻ ചേസ് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് ആൾക്കാർ അനുവദിക്കുന്നില്ല, സൊസൈറ്റി അനുവദിക്കുന്നില്ല. അങ്ങനെയൊക്കെയുള്ളതാണ് നമ്മുടെ ജനറൽ ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു തോട്ട്. Lifology is currently the partner of Kerala State Knowledge Economy Mission, a mission by government of Kerala to give jobs to 2 million people. So we are partnering with the Knowledge Economy Mission in career counseling. So our team is doing career counseling for people who are registered to the Knowledge Economy Mission. So from our interaction with these people and also with the school students, what we understand is പാഷൻ ഉണ്ടായിട്ട് അത് ചേസ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റാത്തവരെക്കാളും പാഷനേ ഇല്ലാത്ത ആൾക്കാരാണ് കൂടുതൽ. ഒരു പാഷൻ ഉണ്ടാവില്ല. എന്താണോ നേടാ താല്പര്യം എന്ന് ചോദിച്ചാൽ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ചിലപ്പോൾ സൂപ്പർമാൻ ആണോ എന്നൊക്കെ പറയും. എന്താവണം താല്പര്യം എന്ന് ചോദിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ എന്ത് കരിയറാ വേണ്ടതെന്ന് ചോദിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ, അതിപ്പോ എന്തേലുമൊക്കെ ആവാം. എന്ത് കരിയർ വേണമെന്ന് ചോദിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ, സ്റ്റാൻഫോർഡില് ഫോട്ടോണിക്സിന്റെ കോഴ്സ് പഠിച്ചിട്ട് എനിക്ക് നാസയിൽ ജോലി കിട്ടണം എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ക്ലാരിറ്റി ഉള്ള ആൾക്കാര് നമ്മുടെ സമൂഹത്തിലുണ്ട്, ഇല്ല എന്നുള്ള അഭിപ്രായം എനിക്കില്ല. പക്ഷേ അങ്ങനെയുള്ള ഒരു 20% അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അതിൽ കുറവുള്ളവരെ എടുത്തിട്ട് ബാക്കിയുള്ള 80% ഇതുപോലെ ക്ലാരിറ്റി ഉള്ളവരാന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ് നമ്മൾ അവർക്ക് ഐഡിയ ഒന്നും കൊടുക്കാതെ നമ്മൾ അവരെ ഗൈഡ് ചെയ്യാതിരിക്കുമ്പോൾ സംഭവിക്കുന്നത് ആ 80% ഈ ഫ്യൂച്ചർ ഡാർക്കായി പോകുന്നുള്ളതാണ്. സോ ദ പോയിന്റ് ഇസ് ലൈക്ക്, അങ്ങനെ അധികം പാഷൻ ഇല്ലാത്ത ആൾക്കാരാണ് സമൂഹത്തിൽ കൂടുതലും എന്നതാണ് പേഴ്സണലി എൻ്റെ ഒപ്പീനിയൻ, ലൈഫോളജിയുടെ ഒരു അണ്ടർസ്റ്റാൻഡിങ്. ഓക്കെ, ഇനി രണ്ടാമത്തെ കാറ്റഗറി എന്താണെന്നറിയാവോ? ഇതിന്റെ തൊട്ട് താഴെ വരുന്ന കാറ്റഗറി ഉള്ള പാഷൻ തന്നെ അത് പാഷൻ ആണെന്ന് ഐഡന്റിഫൈ ചെയ്യാൻ കഴിയാത്തവരാണ്, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഉള്ള പാഷൻ ഒരു കരിയർ ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റി ഉണ്ടെന്ന് തിരിച്ചറിയാൻ കഴിയാത്തവരാണ്. ഈ 2 കാറ്റഗറിയും കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ടേ ഉള്ളൂ നമ്മൾ പലപ്പോഴും ഭയങ്കര സെലിബ്രേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരുപാട് പാഷൻ ഉണ്ടായിട്ടുള്ള, എന്നാൽ സാഹചര്യങ്ങളുടെ സമ്മർദ്ദത്താലോ പാരന്റ്സിന്റെ സമ്മർദ്ദത്താലോ ഒക്കെ അത് നേടാൻ കഴിയാത്ത ആൾക്കാരുടെ എണ്ണം 3ാമതേ ഉള്ളൂ. ഒരു പാഷനും ഇല്ലാത്ത എണ്ണം കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് ഉള്ള പാഷനെ തിരിച്ചറിയുന്നതിനെയും കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് പിന്നെയുമേ ആ സാധനം വരുന്നുള്ളൂ. പക്ഷേ വി ടോക്ക് മോർ അബൌട്ട് ദ തേർഡ് ഗ്രൂപ്പ് ആൻഡ് വി ഫർഗെറ്റ് ഓർ കൺവീനിയന്റ്ലി സൈഡ്ലൈൻ ദ ഫസ്റ്റ് 2 ഗ്രൂപ്പ്സ്. കാര്യം എന്താണെന്നറിയാവോ? ആ തേർഡ് ഗ്രൂപ്പിനെ കുറിച്ച് നമുക്ക് കമന്റ് പറഞ്ഞാൽ മതി, വികാരം കൊണ്ടാൽ മതി. ആദ്യത്തെ 2 ഗ്രൂപ്പിനെ ശരിയാക്കി എടുക്കണമെങ്കിൽ നമ്മൾ ഇച്ചിരി പണിയെടുക്കണം. ബീയിങ് പാരന്റ്സ് ആൻഡ് ബീയിങ് സോഷ്യൽ ബീയിങ്സ്. അവിടെ എന്താ നമുക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുക? ടു ഹെൽപ്പ് യുവർ ചൈൽഡ് ഫൈൻഡ് ദ പാഷൻ, ഇറ്റ് ഇസ് എക്സ്ട്രീംലി ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻറ്റ് ഫോർ ദ പാരന്റ്, നമ്പർ 1, ടു ഒബ്സർവ് ദ ചൈൽഡ്. How many of you observe your child very, very thoroughly? Observe the child എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ ടീച്ചർ പറയുന്ന കമന്റ് കേൾക്കുക, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അയൽപക്കക്കാർ പറയുന്ന കമന്റ് കേൾക്കുക, അവൻ കൂട്ടുകാർ പറയുന്ന കമന്റ് കേൾക്കുക എന്നുള്ളതല്ല. നിങ്ങളുടേതായ ഒബ്സർവേഷൻ, നിങ്ങളുടെ ചൈൽഡിന്റെ മൈക്രോ ആക്ടിവിറ്റീസിനെ കുറിച്ച്, അവന്റെ റീഡിങ്ങിന്റെ ഇൻട്രസ്റ്റിനെ കുറിച്ച്. സോ നമ്മൾ പലപ്പോഴും ഒരു കുട്ടി ഇന്റർനെറ്റിൽ സെർച്ച് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ പോൺ സൈറ്റിൽ പോകുന്നുണ്ടോ എന്നുള്ളതിനെ കുറിച്ച് ഭയങ്കര വേവലാതിപ്പെടാറുണ്ട്. പക്ഷെ അവൻ സെർച്ച് ചെയ്യുന്ന സൈറ്റിന്റെ നേച്ചർ വെച്ചിട്ട് എന്താണ് അവന്റെ ഇൻട്രസ്റ്റ് എന്ന് മനസ്സിലാക്കി എടുക്കുന്ന പണി നമ്മൾ പലപ്പോഴും എടുക്കാറില്ല. So it is extremely important. ആ പോൺ സൈറ്റിൽ പോകുന്നതിനെ കുറിച്ച് വേവലാതിപ്പെടുന്നതിനേക്കാൾ ഇമ്പോർട്ടന്റ് ആണ്, ഐ വുഡ് സേ, ആ സെർച്ചിന്റെ രീതികളും അവൻ പോകുന്ന വെബ്സൈറ്റുകളും അവൻ വായിക്കുന്ന കാര്യങ്ങളും വെച്ചിട്ട് എന്താണ് അവന്റെ പാഷൻ എന്നുള്ളത് മനസ്സിലാക്കുന്നത്. അത് ചിലപ്പോൾ അവൻ പോലും മനസ്സിലായിട്ടുണ്ടാവില്ല അതാണ് അവന്റെ പാഷൻ എന്നും അതിനകത്തൊരു കരിയർ ഉണ്ടെന്ന് പോലും ചിലപ്പോൾ അവൻ അറിയില്ലായിരിക്കും. So it is extremely important that parents observe children. Second, prompt and help children to explore very well. And number 3, expose them to various options, because a person can be passionate about something which the person knows about. അവൻ അറിയാത്ത, അവൻ ഇതുവരെ കേട്ടിട്ടില്ലാത്ത ഒരു കാര്യത്തിനെ കുറിച്ച് പാഷനേറ്റ് ആവുക എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് അത്ര പ്രാക്ടിക്കലായ കാര്യമല്ല. അവന് പാഷനേറ്റ് ആവാൻ കഴിയണമെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ആദ്യം അവൻ അതിനെക്കുറിച്ച് അറിയാമായിരിക്കണം, വിച്ച് ഇസ് എക്സ്ട്രീംലി ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻറ്റ്. എപ്പോഴാണ് അവൻ അതിനെക്കുറിച്ച് അറിയുക? നിങ്ങൾ അവനെ അതിലേക്ക് എക്സ്പോസ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോഴാണ് അവൻ അതിനെക്കുറിച്ച് അറിയുക. അതല്ലെങ്കിൽ അവൻ അക്കാഡമിക്സിന്റെ ചില കാര്യങ്ങൾക്കിടയിൽ മാത്രം കെട്ടുപാടുകളിൽ പെട്ടുപോകുക. ദെൻ ഇനി അങ്ങനെ നിങ്ങൾ അവനെ ഒബ്സർവ് ചെയ്ത് അവനെ എക്സ്പ്ലോർ ചെയ്യാൻ വിട്ട് ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റി കൊടുത്ത് അവനെ എക്സ്പോസ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് സേ യു തിങ്ക് ഓർ ഹി സേസ് ഓർ ഷീ സേസ് ദിസ് ഇസ് മൈ പാഷൻ. അങ്ങനെയാണെങ്കിൽ ദ നെക്സ്റ്റ് സ്റ്റെപ്പ് ഇസ്, ബിക്കോസ് പാഷൻ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഇടയ്ക്കിടയ്ക്ക് ഉണ്ടാകുന്ന മൊമെന്ററി ട്രെൻഡ്സിനോടോ ഉണ്ടാകുന്ന ഒരു ക്വിക്ക് ഇൻട്രസ്റ്റ് പോലും ആവാം. ഇപ്പോ നമ്മുടെ ഒരു പഴയ ജനറേഷനിൽ പലപ്പോഴും കമ്മീഷണർ സിനിമ കണ്ടിട്ട് IPS ആവാൻ ആഗ്രഹിച്ച, കിങ് സിനിമ കണ്ടിട്ട് IAS ആവാൻ ആഗ്രഹിച്ച ഒക്കെ ആൾക്കാരുണ്ട്. അപ്പൊ അങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ ഇന്നത്തെ കുട്ടികളിൽ ഉണ്ടാവും. സോ അപ്പോ അവിടെ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ടേസ്റ്റർ കൊടുക്കാം, ഒരു ഇന്റേൺഷിപ്പ് ആയിട്ടോ ഷോർട്ട് വർക്ക് എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ആയിട്ടോ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ യു ക്യാൻ ടേക്ക് ദം ടു എ വർക്കിംഗ് പ്ലേസ്. എ പേഴ്സൺ വാണ്ട് ടു ബി എ ലോയർ. സോ പലപ്പോഴും സിനിമയിലെ ലോയറിനെ കണ്ടിട്ടായിരിക്കും ആ പേഴ്സൺ ലോയർ ആവാൻ താല്പര്യപ്പെടുന്നത്. ടേക്ക് ഹിം ടു എ കോർട്ട് ആൻഡ് ഷോ ഹിം സോ ഹൗ എക്സാക്ട്ലി ദ ലീഗൽ ഫ്രട്ടേണിറ്റി ഈസ് വർക്കിംഗ് ഓവർ ദെയർ. സോ ഇത്തരത്തില് ഒരു ഷോർട്ട് എക്സ്പോഷർ കൊടുക്കുന്നതിലൂടെ നമുക്ക് അതൊരു റിയൽ പാഷൻ ആണോ അല്ലയോ എന്ന് ടെസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യാനും പറ്റും. സോ എക്സ്പോഷറിലൂടെ അവന് പാഷൻ കണ്ടെത്താനും ഒരു ഷോർട്ട് ടെസ്റ്റിങ്ങിലൂടെ അത് പാഷൻ ആണോ എന്ന് ഉറപ്പിക്കാനും നമ്മളൊരു ശ്രമം എടുക്കേണ്ടത് വിച്ച് ഇസ് വെരി ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻറ്റ്. ഇത് പാഷൻ ആണെങ്കിൽ then personality alignment is again important. That's quite easier because, like, even including Lifology, so we do run personality assessments. ഒരാളുടെ core personality, multiple intelligence, some of the 21st century competencies, ഇതൊക്കെ വെച്ചിട്ട്, so using psychometric assessments powered by artificial intelligence, so we can understand so which person would be good for which career. So ipo ningal ee screen il kanuna green slide, the last portion nokiyala, so we generally map people to various careers based on percentage, and we can tell them, like, you are 98% fit for accounting and finance, whereas you're 87% fit for law and legal, whereas on the other side this person may be only 37% fit for a career in general physics, for an example. Okay, so it's so important to give your child a personality assessment and try to understand the personality orientation of the child. So currently we collaborate with various, I think around 16 of the GEMS group schools, Abu Dhabi Indian School, Sharjah Indian School, and all, to provide these kind of assessments to children in the Middle East, and more than 1,000 schools in India as well. So through Lifology or through outside, you would be able to identify the right personality assessment tools to help your child understand the personality alignment towards career. So which is extremely important, and there are tools and systems available. And now the third one, how to understand the possibilities. See, how many of you trigger or motivate children to read about career trends around? How many of you give them something, or motivate them to listen to regular career talks? I'm not saying taking them to the career fairs. അത് ഇമ്പോർട്ടന്റ് ആണ്, പക്ഷെ അതൊക്കെ പലപ്പോഴും അഡ്മിഷന്റെ സമയത്ത് മാത്രം നടക്കുന്ന കാര്യങ്ങളാണ്. ഇതൊരു റെഗുലർ പ്രോസസ് ആണ്, നമ്മുടെ ഒരു സെൽഫ് ഡെവലപ്മെന്റിന്റെ ഭാഗമാണ്. It is extremely important to expose children to various career talks. Similar like this, നിങ്ങൾ ഇപ്പൊ കഴിഞ്ഞ മുമ്പ് ഒരു ടോക്ക് അറേഞ്ച് ചെയ്തു എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു, വളരെ റിച്വലിസ്റ്റിക് ആയി, വളരെ sustaining nature. So it is so important to get the children interact with people from various career options. So take them to various career places and ask them to read about and try to understand about the trends in career. So my son is into 4th grade now, and he is getting into his 5th grade next year. So I, even in this age, I try to provide him with some lighter notes and all, and ask him to read and prepare something, because along with games and plays and sports, it is important to people to understand about what is happening around the world. And this is these are some of the things which Lifology is taking an initiative now to expose people to various careers, like getting them interact with people from NASA, people from United Nations, people from various technology companies and all. So through that, you can help them understand the possibilities. So ഇങ്ങനെ ഒരു 3 P കണ്ടെത്തി കൊടുക്കുക, ഈ പറയുന്ന വഴികളിലൂടെയാണ് നമുക്ക് ആ P7ലേക്ക് കൊണ്ടു കൊടുക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്നത്. ആൻഡ് ഇതിനൊക്കെ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ കഴിയുക, ഇറ്റ് ഇസ് എക്സ്ട്രീംലി ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻറ്റ് ടു ക്രിയേറ്റ് എൻ ഇക്കോസിസ്റ്റം അറ്റ് ഹോം. ഒരു പ്രോപ്പർ ഇക്കോസിസ്റ്റത്തിലെ നല്ല രീതിയിലുള്ള ജെർമിനേഷനും ഗ്രോത്തും നടക്കുകയുള്ളൂ ഈസ് വെൽ പ്രൂവഡ് ബൈ സയൻസ് അല്ലേ. സോ നമ്മുടെ വീടിനുള്ളിൽ ഒരു പ്രോപ്പർ കരിയർ ഡിസിഷൻ മേക്കിങ്ങിനും കരിയർ പ്ലാനിങ്ങിനുള്ള ഒരു ഇക്കോസിസ്റ്റം ഉണ്ടാക്കി കൊടുക്കലാണ് നമ്മുടെ ചിൽഡ്രന് വേണ്ടി നമുക്ക് ചെയ്തു കൊടുക്കാൻ കഴിയുന്ന the best thing. So these are some of the things I wanted to share with you. So to put it straight, it is important that I just sum it up like this. So number one, being parents, you should intervene strongly in the career decision making of children, because the world is that complex. The world of career is that complex, which they alone may not be able to navigate through. Number one. Number two, why many people say no. Other modern parenting in a മനസ്സിൽ വെച്ചുകൊണ്ടാണ് പാരന്റ്സ് ഇടപെടരുതെന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. അതിന്റെ ഡൈക്കോട്ടമി എടുത്തിട്ട് നേരെ ഇപ്പുറത്ത് സോ ഇടപെടലേ വേണ്ട എന്നതിൽ എത്തുകയല്ല. യു നീഡ് ടു ഫൈൻഡ് ദ ഗ്രേ മാറ്റർ ഇൻ ബിറ്റ്വീൻ. ആൻഡ് നമ്പർ ത്രീ, വാട്ട് ഇസ് ദാറ്റ് ഗ്രേ? ബീയിങ് എ കോച്ച്, ബീയിങ് എ ഗുരു, so being a friend and a philosopher. And number four, so അത് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ അവരെക്കാളും നിങ്ങൾക്ക് അറിയണമെന്നുണ്ടോ കാര്യങ്ങൾ? Not necessary, absolutely not necessary. So that's where I was bringing the example of Ramakant Anchalikar and Sachin Tendulkar. And number five, what you should do, help them align the 3 P's: passion, possibility, and personality. Number six, so അതിൽ ഏതാ ഇമ്പോർട്ടന്റ്? ഡിപ്പെൻഡ്സ് ഓൺ ദ സിനാരിയോ. 3 ഇമ്പോർട്ടന്റ് ആണ്. ഒറ്റ ലൈനിൽ കിട്ടിയാൽ ഭാഗ്യം. But depends on the scenario, you can prioritize. And number seven, passion engane kandupidikkan help cheyam. You observe, expose them, and give them shorter task and shorter assignment. So number seven. അതിലുള്ള ഒരു പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട കാര്യം, ഈ ഷോർട്ടർ ടാസ്കും ഷോർട്ടർ അസൈൻമെന്റും ഒക്കെ കുട്ടികളെ US-ലേക്കും UK-ലേക്കും ഒക്കെ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ അയക്കണമെന്ന് താല്പര്യമുള്ള പാരന്റ്സ് പലപ്പോഴും ഇപ്പോഴും ചെയ്യാറുണ്ട്. സ്കൂളിലേക്കൊക്കെ ഇന്റേൺഷിപ്പ് ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റി, കാരണം അവരുടെ പ്രൊഫൈൽ ബിൽഡിംഗ് ആയിട്ട്. പക്ഷേ ഈ US-ലേക്കും UK-ലേക്കും അയക്കുന്നതിന് അല്ലാത്ത കുട്ടികളെ പലപ്പോഴും നമ്മൾ അതിനുവേണ്ടി ശ്രമിക്കാറില്ല. കാരണം ഇതൊക്കെ നമ്മൾ കൊടുക്കുന്നത് അവരുടെ ഒരു പ്രൊഫൈൽ ബിൽഡിങ്ങിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ് ഇപ്പൊ നമ്മൾ കൊടുക്കുന്നത്. അതിനപ്പുറം ഒരു കരിയർ ഡിസിഷൻ മേക്കിങ്ങിലേക്കും കൂടെ ഇത് ഹെൽപ്പ് ചെയ്യും എന്നുള്ളൊരു അണ്ടർസ്റ്റാൻഡിങ് ഷുഡ് ബി ദർ. And number 8, so എങ്ങനെയാണ് I mean like personality എങ്ങനെ കണ്ടുപിടിക്കണം? Absolutely. So the assessments are available and you can take the children through that. And number 9, so how to identify the possibilities or opportunities? You should read, they should read. If you are not able to read, connect them to some coaches who are reading the same and getting them interact with the coaches or counselors, which is extremely important. And number 10, which is very important, ഇതൊക്കെ ചേർത്തിട്ട് നമ്മൾ എന്താ ചെയ്യേണ്ടത്? Create a right ecosystem at home, whereas children can, in a very non-judgmental ecosystem at home, whereas children can openly discuss and take the right decisions regarding career. So these are the 10 key points which I wanted to share with you. So now these are the perspectives. So now open to questions. So more than happy to understand your points and perspectives as well. And if I will try to answer the questions to the maximum, and if something is beyond my current understanding, so we'll see, I will learn it and I will share it with you in email. Yeah, thank you very much, Sajid. I'm done from at this point of time. Done for now.
Yeah, thank you, Praveen. I think as you informed, it was a very informative session. Definitely, none of us were bored hearing this, because each of us parents are going to be impacted by whatever you spoke about. So we'll leave the floor open for any questions. So in case any of you have a question, request is to raise your hand, and then I will unmute you, and then you can go ahead and ask your question. So the floor is open for questions.
Salim is
I think I have
present.
I think I have a question already there. So Najum Nawaz sir, so how could we make opportunity for the kids to talk to their career opportunity with people? So I understand the question like this: how exactly we make opportunity for kids to talk their career opportunity with people? I understand that's a question. Okay, so I would say, number one, we should not rely upon schools always. Okay, because many times we rely upon the schools and school counseling teams to support children with all this. But honestly, counseling department in schools us like, അതൊരു മാൻഡേറ്ററി സിസ്റ്റം പോലെ ആയതുകൊണ്ടോ കോമ്പറ്റീഷന്റെ ഭാഗമായിട്ട് അത് ഉണ്ടാവണം എന്നുള്ള നിർബന്ധം ആയതുകൊണ്ടോ ഒക്കെയാണ് അത് പലപ്പോഴും ഓടുന്നത്. അത് പലപ്പോഴും ഒരു സ്കൂളിന്റെ ഇന്റഗ്രൽ പാർട്ട് അല്ല, അതിന്റെ കോർ ബാക്ക് ബോൺ അല്ല. അങ്ങനെ ആകണമെന്ന് നിർബന്ധവുമില്ല. അങ്ങനെ ആകണമെന്ന് നിർബന്ധവുമില്ല. ഓക്കെ, സോ അപ്പൊ ഒരു സ്കൂളിലേക്ക് നമ്മൾ മാത്രമായി റിലേ ചെയ്യരുത് ഈസ് ദ ഫസ്റ്റ് പോയിന്റ്. സെക്കൻഡ് പോയിന്റ്, വാട്ട് യു ക്യാൻ ഡു, സോ ഇറ്റ് ഇസ് number one, there are platforms, maybe Lifology or maybe more, whereas people can be a part of, and they can interact with people from various careers through those platforms. For an example, what Lifology is doing now, so don't take it as a promotion statement of Lifology, but a methodology which we are adopting now. So what we are doing now, so we host speakers and experts from various career options to interact with children on a weekly basis. And so that's an open interaction platform. And we also have videos of people talking about various careers. Example, we hosted people like Dr. Jennifer Weissman from NASA. So Dr. John Gray, the author of Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. So famous journalists like Barkha Dutt and Arnab Goswami, who take two stances in journalism in India. So the people like the former chairman of ISRO to talk about space science, the former Indian diplomats to talk about the careers in Indian diplomacy or in Indian administrative services. So people from Google, Microsoft, and all to talk about careers in IT. So ഇത്തരത്തിലുള്ള ആൾക്കാരിലേക്ക്, that's a second option. അങ്ങനെയുള്ള platforms എടുക്കാം. Third option, you can expose children to your friends, your former classmates, your colleagues. So നിങ്ങളൊരു ഓഫീസിൽ വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ നോർമലി ഓഫീസിൽ എല്ലാ ഫംഗ്ഷൻസും ഉണ്ടാവും പല ഓഫീസിലും അല്ലെ. സോ യു ക്യാൻ ഈസിലി എക്സ്പോസ് ചിൽഡ്രൻ ടു ദീസ് പീപ്പിൾ ആൻഡ് ഇന്ററാക്ട് ചെയ്യിക്കാം. നിങ്ങളുടെ ഓഫീസിലേക്ക് അവരെ കൊണ്ടുപോകാൻ നിങ്ങളുടെ പോളിസീസ്, HR പോളിസീസ് സമ്മതിക്കുന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അത് ചെയ്യാം. So you can host family get-togethers or similar like this alumni get-togethers, whereas purposely the conversation theme is career also. So അപ്പൊ അങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ ഒരു ഇക്കോസിസ്റ്റം ക്രിയേറ്റ് ചെയ്യപ്പെടുമ്പോഴാണ് കുട്ടികളും ഓപ്പൺ അപ്പ് ആവുക. പലപ്പോഴും കുട്ടികൾക്ക് ആ ഇക്കോസിസ്റ്റം ഇല്ലാത്തത് കൊണ്ടാണ്, നമ്മൾ ശ്രദ്ധിച്ചിട്ടില്ലേ, ഇതൊന്നും പാരന്റ്സിനോട് പലപ്പോഴും കുട്ടികൾ സംസാരിക്കില്ല, മറിച്ച് ഇതൊക്കെ സംസാരിക്കുന്നത് അവരുടെ ഫ്രണ്ട്സിനോടോ ഒക്കെ ആയിരിക്കും. സോ അങ്ങനെ ഫ്രണ്ട്സിനോട് സംസാരിക്കാൻ കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ തന്നെ വലിയ ഭാഗ്യം. പലപ്പോഴും പാരന്റ്സിനോട് ഇത്തരം കോൺവെർസേഷൻസ് ഉണ്ടാവാറില്ല. ദ റീസൺ ഇസ് വി ഡോണ്ട് ക്രിയേറ്റ് ദാറ്റ് ഇക്കോസിസ്റ്റം വിത്തിൻ ദ ഹൗസസ്. സോ അതാണ് അതിന്റെ ഒരു പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട പ്രശ്നം. ആ ഒരു ഇക്കോസിസ്റ്റം ക്രിയേഷൻ ആൻഡ് ഗിവിംഗ് ദം എക്സ്പോഷർ ഓർ മേക്കിംഗ് ദം ബീയിങ് എ പാർട്ട് ഓഫ് ദ പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോംസ് വുഡ് ഹെൽപ്പ് ദ ചിൽഡ്രൻ ടു know about it very well. That's my answer to that, sir.
Okay, so
I
we
think,
move to next question. So I would ask Murli to unmute himself, and you can go ahead, ask your question, please. Murli.
Yeah, thank you. And I should say thanks to Najum. He sent me the invite. And usually I thought that it's a boring session. Now it's not a boring session, it's an eye-opener. Thanks a lot to Praveen. And it's really an informative session. And I belong to the second category. Now you understood that I belong to the second category because I thought that no, I will give full freedom to my children when I found out that it's not good. So my question to Praveen is that, see, it's about my second daughter. She keeps on changing her interest. Initially, she had an interest towards guitar. Now she left that one. And now she's having interest in dance. In the second phase, she had interest in dance. And now she wants to stop it. She's coming up with some reasons like she don't like, because during COVID, all these things went on online. So she don't like online shows. She want to stop that. And the third thing is that she wants to go for IT profession, but I found out that she's not good at analyzing maths and all those things. So she's having difficulty in that. So my question to you is that, is there a remedy for changing those interests, or what we can do about it? Thank you, Praveen.
What's her age and which grade she is in now?
She's in 8th grade now.
Okay, got it.
13
perfectly
years.
Fine. So perfectly fine. So I think I just try to make 3 points out of this. So number one, so in grade 8, in the age of 13, I would say changing career interest is absolutely normal, absolutely possible, and very good. And why I say very good, because the child is thinking about careers and the that the child is getting, at least they are, the child is open to various careers, not so obstinate. So it is perfectly okay to have different options in mind at this point of time. So, but you need to make sure, so she's exploring more on these areas, maybe new areas, new upcoming areas also, and getting into a broader spectrum of careers when she is into her 10th grade. Then why is a broader spectrum of careers? The child need not be having a clear idea that I'm going to be a cardiologist, I'm going to be a software tester, I'm going to be a photonic expert, I'm going to be an astrophysicist. So not necessary that these kind of very, very sharp career interests need to be there with the child when the child is into the 10th grade. But when the child is into the 10th grade, they can think about, am I going to science, or am I going to commerce? Am I going to humanities? So am I going to be into a research-based career? Am I going to be a technology-based career? Am I getting into a career which is outdoor in nature or indoor in nature? So these kind of broader interest alignment need to be there when the child is into 10th grade. And because that will help the child to choose what exactly to study in 12th grade. Okay, so but when the child is into the 11th and 12th grade, you can expose the child, then the system would be narrowing down a bit, right? Then you can expose the child to various courses and various universities so that they can try to take a better decision when the child is, sorry, yeah, so when the child is reaching to the 12th grade. Okay, so I would say it is okay to go through the changes, number one. Number two, so by 10th grade, if it would be great if the child can get zero into a broader perspective of science, humanities, because like in any career you can put into science, humanities, commerce, like larger baskets. And now some hybrid careers are also there, but still the larger orientation can be there into the 10th grade. And 11th and 12th, then whatever the larger orientation they get, expose them more to the areas on those area, on those spectrum. And so by 11th end, they would be able to get into better option. Okay, so this option I'm saying to people where children are not extremely clear or passionate on one area. If they're very passionate on one area, and you find that passion is absolutely fine and in line, so you can start leading them in a very narrowed manner even during the younger ages. This is my first point. Second point, so if a case come early, so your child is very interested in IT, but you don't find that the child is good for IT because of their logical or mathematical understanding. So instead, the best way to it, we should go for convincing people than contradicting them or super dominating them. So you can expose the child to some of the IT projects. So I don't get one in mind now, but there are platforms which you can try to check with the IT people you have around, or if you're an IT person, you would be knowing. So there are platforms whereas people can freely code or freely being a part of IT competitions, so even without knowing the basics of IT. So there exactly the child will get exposed to what is happening in IT, and they can take an informed decision before take the decision. So even before you bombard them with your opinions, the child would be exposed to that. So that's a second point I want to share. Yes, these 2 points I wanted to share to you, Murli. More questions? Murli, I believe I answered to your question. If more, we can still discuss more.
Thanks. Thanks, Praveen. You answered my question. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Murli. Thank you very much. Yeah. Sajid?
Yeah, we can now move to the second person, Abdul Salim. I think you can put forward your question to Praveen. You can unmute yourself. Salim,
I think Mr. Salim.
Yeah.
Salim.
Okay. Am I audible now?
Yeah, now better.
Now you can.
Yeah, I was talking with my mic on off. Okay. Thanks, Murli, for the wonderful session. I have a couple of questions. Question number one, at what age we can decide the career of a child? I'm saying the maximum age. Like I have 2 kids. One is doing engineering second year, and the second one is in the 12th grade. And both of them have actually decided about their career, but after hearing today's session, probably I need to rethink, at least on the second child's career option. So that's one is the age. Second, how can we utilize your service? sitting in UAE? How can we utilize? Will there be? I've seen your website. While the session was progressing, and we want to understand. I think you have an association with GEMS Group and stuff like that. So there's a different pricing for GEMS Group. So will there be a different pricing for TKM Group? Just wanted to explore that option as well. Thank you.
Okay, sure. So let me take the first question first. So what is the age? So I would say, generally, I would say early the better always, generally, early the better, because it's a general answer. So to all of you, because I have seen people who are preparing very, very sharp for career, even from their 7th grade onwards. That's not like the parents are imposing or pressurizing or pestering children to start preparing for that. But I have seen parents who have created the right ecosystem and the support people around who children can discuss with and take the right decision and start their preparation. That is extremely important. So if you want to send your child to Ivy League or Russell Group kind of top universities or like IITs or kind of institutes in India, just to give an example or a case study to understand the gravity of that. So when I was visiting Shanghai High School, so in Shanghai, to understand about the career processes there. So I met with a child, a 12th grade child, who hold an offer letter from the New York University and Stanford University. So 2 universities offer letter was with the child. So, and he was in 12th grade. And, to get these offer letters, he started preparing from 7th grade onwards. So he started preparing from 7th grade, and by 8th grade, so the parents and the child got realized that because of the academic prowess, the child is not going to get into any of the top universities in the world. But the child was very, very good in playing bridge game, and the child was okay in mathematics as well. So they arranged, how they molded the child is, the child became the local body, the Shanghai Junior Bridge champion. And they taught the child the basics of computer science and machine learning. And the child designed a particular program when he was into the 10th grade to use machine learning algos to predict the bridge game outcomes. Okay. And based on that particular project, it's not that much a cutting edge project and all, but for a 10th grade student, it is an absolutely good project. So then the child presented this project in a couple of international exhibitions and all, and got good notifications and everything, and mentioning and everything. And based with this profile, the child put applications to Stanford University's computer science course, and the child got placed. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is, so the way which the people around the world are preparing to get into the top universities around the world is like this. So they prepare very early. Because many times, so we start thinking about sending our child to Cambridge or Harvard or Oxford. So when they are into the 10th grade or 11th grade or 12th grade, whereas the other people are start thinking about the same from 7th or 6th or 8th. So I don't have an opinion that that is right or this is wrong or this is right or that is wrong. So, but I'm just trying to say your children will be competing with those kids. And all these universities are having limited seats. So your children will be competing with those kids. And now you can think who will win over the competition. Okay, win over others. So that's, so early the better is my point. And that's a generic answer. But the specific answer to you is, so with the second, the one child is already into engineering. The second child is into the 12th grade now. I would say it is not, it's not too late. It's not too late to plan, but some of the careers may not be open to you at this point of time. I mean, because some careers demands some specialization in 10+2 courses to get into the the basic courses, right? I mean, to get into the UG courses. But still, the US universities are a bit liberal, whereas Indian universities are extremely strict on that. UK is in between, same like the geography. So I would say you're not too late. Still, you can think, but some careers, the doors should be shut. So that totally depends on your child's current 10+2, +1+2 specialization, and what exactly the child wants to navigate to. So that is how I want to answer to your first question. The second question is how exactly to be utilizing Lifology services. So Lifology services goes like this. So we do, of course, we do have paid subscription to our platforms for children. And so we do charge for the coaching the one-to-one coaching as well. Whereas we don't charge for the group sessions, but we charge for the one-to-one coaching sessions as well. So we can surely work out something for TKM group and share with you for sure. Yeah, but services are possible to be availed, and we can surely take it forward. Yeah.
Thank you, Praveen, for that.
Thanks, Praveen.
Sajid?
Can I ask Sisina Siddiq to unmute and go ahead with your question?
Very informative and resourceful session. It was really good. I have two questions. First of all, how do we classify a child's interest into a passion or a hobby? Like, a child may be good at football, but that doesn't mean that, he would become a very good sportsman. So as a parent, we might not be like, okay, how do we just let our child go and play football or be a good sportsman? And also, if at all we identify, how can we channelize them into a particular course? That's my first question. And the second question is, where do we put the skill sets of a student or a child and his academic achievements or academic abilities, or within these 3 Ps that you have defined? These are my questions.
Okay, so I would just take the first question first. It's like, how exactly to be differentiating between the hobby and passion. So I just put it in this way. See, like, working in a career means, so one day, even if we take the socialistic principle of working, so 8 hours of work, 8 hours of leisure, 8 hours of sleep means minimum of 8 hours on a day we need to spend in career. And many of you would be spending even double of that. So, and the future world will be demanding more from us. That means more than 1/8 hours means 1/3 of 24 hours a day. So that means if a person is living for 80 years, so more than 1/3 of his lifetime, more than 27.5 years, 27 years plus, they will be spending in career. And more than 50% of the time we are awake, we will be spending in our offices and in the activities related to career. So that means the time we need to invest, the focus we need to have, the stretch we need to do, and the duration or the span we need to spend on something what we do in career is too much. So if the interest of your child is persisting in long term, and he is ready to do that in continuous stretches, and he is not getting demotivated or tired even after, or bored even after spending a lot of time on that, and ready to prepare for that also, so then we can consider that interest as a passion. Let me take the example of the football you said. So if the child is playing football, ready to play and thrilled to play football for 2 hours, 1 hour a day, that may be his interest. But it is a passion. It becomes a passion, or you can classify it as a passion, if the child is ready to go for a coaching program in football by spending 5 to 8 hours a day over a weekend, by keeping these gadgets and everything away. Okay, so I repeat. So if your child is just interested in playing football with friends, he enjoys the same, it's an interest. But it would be a passion if the child is ready to spend 6 to 8 hours a day over a weekend by keeping the gadgets and everything away to go for a coaching program in football. So that's a marker. That's a litmus test. So if your child is saying, so this is what exactly his passion is, send him for a professional coaching program and see if the child is getting adapted to it perfectly well. Because playing football is easy, but learning it in a systematic and structured way, in a formal way, is a bit boring, is a bit it's a bit boring, is a bit academic, bit slow. So it's like, take the child through that. And if the child is still persisting with or connecting with the interest, then you can see that it is his passion. So I would say the interest can be demarcated from passion based on the effort the child is ready to put, based on the duration the time the child is ready to invest, and I would say the hard work the child is ready to do, and the readiness of the child to go through the boring part of practice to perform that. So if the child is doing all those, it's passion. Similar, like, somebody wants to do a break dance to a new song, it's interest. But is the child ready to go for a break dance or a Boston dance training program, whereas the child would be practicing single step continuously for 2 hours? The child will be practicing single step. So then if the child is ready to do that over a period of a year time, that means it's passion. That's how I want to differentiate between passion and interest. The second is where exactly the academic abilities place. So I would say the academic, even if the passion, possibility, and personality are in line, so these three should be in line, or these three should be considered to identify the career area, okay? But to navigate to that career area, the child need to have a vehicle, and that vehicle is the academic performance. I hope you're getting the point. So academic performance is not a factor to decide which career the child should go to. Which career the child should go to should be decided by considering the passion, possibilities, and personality styles. But once it is decided, the child need to take a vehicle to reach that destination, and that vehicle is the academic performance of the child. That's how I want to answer that particular question. So I believe I answered. If not clear, still you can ask.
That's clear. Thank you so much.
Sadik.
Okay, yeah, and now we can move to the next question. I think this is over the chat window. I think Mr. Riston, are you also available on this session now?
Yes, I am, Sajid. Thank you.
Yeah, Riston,
Praveen,
I think you can go ahead, read your question, and you can ask Praveen about this.
Perfect. Thank you, Sajid. Thank you, Praveen, for the wonderful session. It was very informative, and it was definitely changed my perception on a lot of these things. I had a lot of family members invest in a lot of EdTech programs for their children. And as parents, they are very much invested in all the latest developments. But what I can see is after a few months or even 1 month, the children don't share the same passion or are not able to comprehend the importance of choosing your career, as well as why EdTech and these additional things are very beneficial for them. So what are the steps that can be taken from parents to actually convey to the children the importance of this, and also that they keep going through with the system? Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good and very relevant question, and a very timely question as well. So I think it's like, so when exactly we all started becoming serious about careers, we all started to understand the value of taking outside resources to develop ourselves. So I would say most of us, you can feel free to disagree with me, but most of us started thinking about developing ourselves once we face the heat of the job environment or the careers. And once we start feeling the heat of the career environment, we started understanding that, like, we need to travel a way forward to develop ourselves, to get prepared for the competitive world. But we understand the same only in late 20s or 30s or 40s, or some people only in 50s. So that particular understanding we are expecting the child to have during their teenage. And I would say it is extremely hard to expect a child, majority of children, to have that kind of a seriousness and consistency and sustaining interest to make use of the resources around and develop themselves during their teenage. Because the studies says See, the massive open online courses by top universities are available in Coursera, edX kind of platforms, right? And the completion rate is less than 5%. So less than 5% of the adults, complete the self-learning courses by self-motivation, by keeping the consistency on even during their adulthood. And we are expecting that by self-motivated, by becoming self-triggered, by becoming initiated, teenage children should be continuously using ethic and solutions around themselves for their benefit. And that wouldn't happen in most cases. And if that is happening, that is absolutely great or fortunate, but that would generally don't happen. So what we should do for that? So parents we can buy or subscribe the platforms. At the same time, parents should also take the responsibility to make sure children are using the same. It may be like, if you're buying the child a tablet, so you should also insist the child that you should make use of this, or you should explore this at least once in a week or twice in a week, depends on the importance of that particular system in the future of the child. So let me put it in 3 statements. Number 1, it is extremely easy to buy some solutions for children. Number 2, even adults are not motivated to make use of the solutions around ourselves. So we cannot expect children to be doing the same. So number 3, so there what we should do is we should extend our responsibility or role of a parent to help the children or to enforce or force the children, or I would say rather than using force, I would say create an opportunity for the children or motivate the children to use the same also. And many times that would come only through insisting them to do that, and which is extremely important. So I personally don't think that majority of teenagers would be self-motivated, self-triggered, and self-initiated to make use of the support system you bring to the child by paying money from your pocket. They may not be. It is extremely important that you should make use of, you should take the role of people who are making them use the solutions also. And there is no other easy way to motivate them. We can talk about gamification, we can talk about animation videos, we can talk about that the companies rising to the level by making the systems more interactive and engaging, but it may not work many times. Why? If a child need to be connected and pulled into something, and not a child, so even we all. So, how many applications do we use regularly? We use Facebook, we use maybe WhatsApp, we use Instagram, but how many of us are very regularly using LinkedIn until and unless you are into sales? Many of us, you would be having an account in LinkedIn, but we may not be making use of it. Because it's not giving that particular adrenaline rise or that particular, the hormonal, triggers in our mind. So naturally in an academic, with an academic edtech solution, those kind of adrenaline rise or those kind of pleasure hormones wouldn't get triggered. So the only way is, or the best, I wouldn't say the only way, the best way is insist them to use that if you're buying the same. The parent should also, you should not stop by paying for them and buying the solution. You should also extend your role to make them use the same. That's it. Bit conservative, but I think that's a reality.
Thank you, Praveen.
Sajid, I believe I answered.
Yeah. Okay. We can move to the next question. I think Mr. Sadiq. Sadiq, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Thank you, sir. I am Ruxana Sadiq from Oman. Sir, it is a very wonderful, fabulous class. And I say thank you to Anis Moideen for sharing this link. Sir, I have a question that you tell that some aptitude test or multiple intelligence test is there for finding the skills in child. So how we can fully rely on that report? And the second question is, you say that experience is very expensive. So if we find a passion from our, or he or she find a passion, and how we can assign a coach or how we can assign a mentor for him? How we can find
Okay.
a mentor for him?
Two questions. So let me take the first question. How reliable aptitude tester? I would say 80% plus. So if you ask about Lifology, so after going through all the scientific measures of validity testing, reliability testing, item analysis, and everything, so we show the reliability of more than 85-87%. Generally, aptitude test in the market are the good aptitude tests are mostly 80% plus accurate. Okay, that's number one. So number two, it's always you don't always need to rely upon these tests solely. So, but this test will help you to take the right decisions in a way, like something is better than nothing. You can analyze the child with something. So, and that will help you to analyze the child in a better way than you are analyzing without any arts. So it's always play a great role if you think like something is better than nothing. And the reliability or the dependability. So if you ask about Lifology, I can say it is more than 85%, but many of the best tests in the market are equally competitive with same like Lifology, and it is all like 80% plus if you go with a good solution. The second question is how to get a coach. So I would say, of course, Lifology provides coaches. So what I will do is, as the question is there, and one question was there before, so I would be creating an exclusive link and an exclusive access system to Lifology assessments and Lifology coaches for this particular community, and share with the responsible people so that they can share it with you in the due course of time. So I would say Lifology is, of course, connecting people to coaches, and there are platforms similar to ourselves also. So that is the second point. Number three, also keep in mind the coaching is expensive. Why? Because it's a one-to-one session happening. So even if you are not able to get a professional coach for the child, so you can make use of the career counselors or career coaches at your child's schools to the maximum. But the career guidance systems at the schools are not exactly well utilized. It may be because it is not perfectly aligned with the academics or marks. The systems are not perfectly well utilized. So you can make use of the career systems or career counselors at schools, so to the maximum, if there is a problem to pay for the one-to-one sessions with an external company like ours. So that is how I want to answer to your questions. I believe I answered, Ruxana. Yes.
Yeah, I think you have addressed the question. We'll move to the next question. Next question has been put on the chat window. This is by Rekha. It was personally addressed to me. Rekha, are you there on the session? Okay, I think maybe we'll take it later. We'll move to the next question.
Sajid, if you don't mind, we can take 3 more questions. That will be fine, right?
Okay, so we'll have one question is there on the chat window. Then we have Asif Rashid, and we can allow one more last question to one more person. Okay, is that good enough, Praveen?
Yeah, absolutely fine. So I have seen Rekha's question in the chat box. Should I take it now? Is Rekha here with us?
You can take it now. You can take it now.
Okay, so the question is, my daughter wanted to pursue forensic science. She wanted to do it after getting a degree in mathematics. Okay, forensic science, degree in mathematics, but she had to join BTech first year now due to our intervention. So do we need to rethink to go ahead with her interest if that is the real passion, if we identify in the coming days? Okay, that's a tricky question because the child is already into one course. So Rekha, I would say I would analyze the scenario like this and say like this. Number one, forensic science is one course which is creating false interest in many people, because forensic science is a very cinematic career, very celebrated career, and it's a career which is connected with many children's childhood passions. So many times forensic science is such kind of a very over celebrated or overrated career. So it is extremely important to make sure if you're taking a career change decision, you have to make sure it is really the passion of the child. extremely the passion of the child. Why? It is not because it is over celebrated. Second, it is a career with very less number of opportunities coming up every year. So that a child will have to put a lot of effort, like, to get into forensic science as a career. So if you are pulling the child out of the current course and placing them to BSc forensic science kind of a career, so it is a very, very costly and expensive and tough decision. So you need to think whether to do that or not by analyzing the depth of passion, number one. Number two, to survive well in forensic science, mathematics is of course important, but more than that, it is extremely important to have the an interest and understanding in chemistry and biology. So you need to think whether your child is that much interested in chemistry and biology also. So along with the depth of passion, you need to think about the interest on these subjects as well. And the third and the most important question, there is an opportunity. If the child is doing engineering, and the engineering is in computer science or some area whereas it can be shifted to computer science, you can think about, or your child can think about careers in cyber forensic as well. So after completing BTech, so the child can do an MTech or an MSc course in cyber forensic, so that the child would be able to pursue the interest in forensic, and also the child would be able to capitalize the current education she is going through now. So that is one area we can think about. It's not the bio or chemic forensic, it is about the cyber forensic, and opportunities in cyber forensic is on a rise also. It's not like it's a mass opportunity, it's a niche opportunity, but it's on rise. So that is one track which you can think about without pulling her or him out of the current course. So that's how I want to take that question, Sajid.
Thank you, Praveen, and the organizing team.
Oh, you were there. Yeah. Thank you, Rick. Yes, I think now we go to Asif. Yeah.
Yeah, we go to the next question. Asif Rashid, you
Hi.
can ask your question. Asif.
Hi, I'm Shifa. Thanks, Praveen. That was a very enlightening session, and thanks TKMCE for organizing such a wonderful session. My question would be very general, because whenever we were hearing some talks about this career counseling, there were opinions from experts that I have heard that in the future, the careers will not be in the traditional way that we have been doing careers. That means you will be studying one course in your PG or UG, then you go to one UG course and your PhD, and you will be becoming a master of that one, and then you will be having a career out of it. But experts, I have heard it many times that in the future it would be a very different scenario, and then the kids may not be having opportunity of doing one job that they have been mastered or had a PhD on. So what would be your opinion on such a scenario or such a thing happening in future about these kids' careers when they will be in maybe 5 or 10 years time?
Okay, so I would say 3 points on that. Number one, so it is absolutely right and clear that the career world is dynamically, progressively, and positively changing. So the way the careers are happening now, see, it is as the point is, the way the careers were happening for our dads were very different than the way the career is treating ourselves now. And it will be extremely different for our children for sure. But the difference is the intensity, the dimension, and the gravity of the change would be super different. So point number one, the way the careers will be in future will be absolutely different. Just to give you 3 examples. Number one, so IT industry used to have massive openings for people, and still even now IT is one of the biggest hirers now, and it will continue to grow also. But on the go, maybe in another 10 to 15 years, even lesser, let me be a bit optimistic, like, in 10 to 15 years, it may be lesser also. So the base level IT coding would be happening by artificial intelligence systems. So when the base level IT coding will be happening by the AI systems, so we may not be having IT engineers with minimum capability, but still the opportunity for IT engineers will be more. The number of IT engineers will be more, but those should be for people who are extremely good at IT. So the industry may not be hiring like, the base skilled people and making them high paid IT professionals, may not be. There will be two scenarios. Number one, there will be unique, well-talented, specifically people meant to be IT professionals as IT professionals who are creating complex algorithms. And there will be less paid people who are hired like, from BCom, BSc, BA graduate. The company trained them on a specific course and put them into the base level coding processes. Apart from this, so what will not be there? The less skilled IT professionals getting high pay may not be there in future, because those jobs will be taken over by the IT programs in future. Number one. Number two, doctors. So now doctors is a very fantastic job, a very, I would say, celebrated job. And if you're a doctor, you get a job for sure. I mean, less paid or more paid, but you may be getting job opportunity for sure. But you should explore the tricorder prize competition happening in the Silicon Valley, or happened in the Silicon Valley. Whereas like, even 4 or 5 years back, a very small device of this size, so got awarded with the tricorder prize prize. And this device was capable to diagnose more than 13 or more than 23 diseases. It can diagnose the diseases based on the pattern recognition it is capable to do. So currently the systems like IBM Watson is extremely progressing, so that like, what exactly the doctors are doing now. So when we are going to the doctors, they would be prescribing some tests, and when they get the test result, it would be like, it would be having a pattern. So more than this number or less than this number. So more than the bone is tilted or not tilted. So these kind of patterns, the doctors are just plainly analyzing and diagnosing the diseases. But the science is progressing to a level where maybe in another 5 years' time, the mechanical diagnosis would easily be happening through, the computer systems, whereas the doctor's job would be limited. So the doctors who are doing the work now as what they are doing now, so may not be having this much of a good time in future, whereas they need to be more and more humane, and they need to be more and more intelligent and analytical in nature, and more capable to do the treatments than what they are doing now, because that field is also getting widely encroached by the machine, the algorithms. And number three, another wide career opportunity now was in accounting field, and chartered accountants are getting a lot of importance nowadays. But I believe, so once the big data analysis powered by the blockchain system is in place, whereas one transaction cannot be altered in future, the role of the chartered accountants to vouch the systems could be lesser than now, whereas they need to be more into analysis, they need to be more into advising than just buy bread by selling the value of their signatures. So that is the level where the job of accounting is also shifting towards. And these are the three examples I was trying to give you the dimension of the changes happening in the spectrum of career. And if you think that this is not going to be applicable in the arts field, that's also a myth. It will be applying in the arts field as well. Example, let's take a case of a very simple example, the Smule application. So we all are becoming good singers using Smule application, right? So that means to create a bad voice into a good voice, so we don't need to, we can have applications. And even the future is going towards, so we can create voices. We can create artificial voices for songs in future. There are machines even now creating artificial rhythms also. Artificial music composing is also happening, and that will be happening more in the future. So musicians will also be having a tough time. So putting it straight, so the way the career is changing in future will be extremely, I would say, dynamic. That's my first point. The second point is, as you rightly said, will the child would be doing multiple jobs? I would take it in this way. Your child will be getting opportunity to do multiple jobs, but whether to do it or not is your child's decision. Got it. So that our children will be getting more and more opportunities, because the more courses are coming in, short-term courses are coming in. Now the courses can be availed at the comfort of our home, and that will continue for sure. And the more the different variants of jobs are also coming in. So opportunity for a child to do some more number of jobs in future will be there. But if somebody want to specialize in some field, go deeper into that, do research into that, and build up a career into that, that opportunity will also be there. Number two. Number three, how exactly we should prepare our child for this future. I would say you need to give exposure to the child, take some broader decisions in 10th, so then in 12th, and then study whatever they find it appropriate according to the 3 Ps. But in addition to that, what we have to do is we also have to equip them to face the uncertainties, equip them to face the potential uncertainties. And how exactly you can equip them to face the potential uncertainties? Number one, get them connected with maximum number of people, which is very important. Because the best way to navigate through uncertainty is not to rely upon your IQ, but to rely upon your SQ or social quotient. It is extremely important to make sure your children are connected with maximum number of people around themselves. And that can be on the real world or on the, or on the virtual world. Virtual world is not too bad. It can be on the real world or on the virtual world, okay? But they need to be connected with maximum number of people for sure in a protective manner. Second, you have to help them develop their emotional quotient in a very good level. And number three, get them adapted with uncertainties and changes happening around them. In simple, enhance their life skills, enhance their human skills, which is very important. Whereas we are focusing more on enhancing their logical and mathematical and scientific skills, which is very important. But along with that, we may not be able to compete with a machine in machine skills, but we will be able to compete with a machine using our human skills. So we need to put more effort in developing our children's human skills. So point number one, I was trying to mention the direction and dimensions of the changes happening in the career spectrum. Number two, it will continue to be dynamic and more opportunities will be there, but it will be the child's decision to take more opportunities or continuing the one stream. And number three, what we should do, equip them to be more humane and equip them with more life skills and network around themselves, which would be very, very, very important. That's how I want to take that question. Sajid, we can go to the last question.
So we can have the last question. Anish, I think you did raise your hand for a question. You can go ahead.
Yes, hi, Praveen. First of all, thanks for this wonderful session. As you mentioned, it might be a boring session, but as you can understand, it was really not boring, indeed. Thanks for that. My question is actually half answered, but I would like to again just be clear that what will be the age of kids? Like my kid is almost 9 years old, studying in grade 4. I would like to ask that from when we can focus on their career actually and start guiding them, since when we can focus on these kind of career guidance stuff.
I would say 7th grade, 8th grade. And how to do that is also like this. It's like, you know, when the child is into 7th or 8th or 7, 8, 9 grade, I would say 7 and 8th grade, you need not give a psychometric assessment to the child. You need not give a psychometric assessment. You need not assign a coach for the child. But what you should do when the child is into the 7, 8 grades is expose them to maximum opportunities around it. Expose them to what is happening around. It may be by taking them to your office spaces, interacting with your friends, interacting with the parents of their friends. So getting their friends' parents and friends gathered together and talk about their careers, motivating them for internship, giving them some voluntary work experience, and like that. So like, you know, the person would get exposed. And when the child is, say, when you're taking the child to a Superman movie or a Spider-Man movie, so you can ask the child how exactly, you can expose the child to YouTube videos, whereas how the Spider-Man movie is crafted. So there the child is getting exposed to one career opportunities of VFX. So how exactly the green mat shoot is happening. From the green mat shoot, how exactly all this graphics is getting produced. So likewise, in the way which they are getting interested, you can expose them to various opportunities around, various study opportunities around, various top universities around, just exposure. Okay, give them a broader exposure. and what's happening around and all. And once a child is into the 9th grade, I would say, I understand your child is, I believe the child is into the Indian curriculum or not in the British curriculum. If in that case,
he's in the CBSE curriculum.
Yeah, absolutely fine. So 8th to 9th grade, so give an aptitude test to the child to understand the broader possibility, and so that by the time they would be exposed to certain options and they would be having an aptitude test with them, and based on that, you initiate an interaction or an open conversation with the child to make sure, like, you know, they are able to take narrow down to 5, 6. I'm not saying 2, 3, 5, 6. When they are into the 9th grade, even if it is 5, 6, that is absolutely fine. And based on that, you can plan their +1, +2, where they can narrow it down to 2 to 3 options. And the 2 to 3 options maybe, like, you know, broader options like engineering. I'm not saying that which course in engineering they need to be very clear when they are in the 10th also. They can be thinking like, you know, engineering or into medicine or into arts or into commerce. So any two, these options can be with the 10. And once they are into the 11 and 11, they can zero into 2, 3 kind of that. Then based on these 2, 3 options, so you can give another aptitude test again and try to help your child zero into that, and like, you know, zero into that. And then you can expose to study opportunities in these areas, study opportunities, courses, subjects they learn in these areas and all. Then they can decide on any one which they want to pursue. So that would be the level by level understanding which you can take your child through. So I would say when I would say 7 or 8, but that need not be in an upfront manner. It should be in a level by level, step by step manner. Clear? I believe I answered. So now let me go to my conclusion remarks. Okay. So I would share my screen again. Sorry. I would, share my screen again. I already told you the 10 point about the ecosystem. And here goes the 11th point. So give your child a template like this and ask them to fill it up. Whatever micro things they do, ask them to fill it up on the profile because of 2 reasons. Number 1, so whatever things they do, they find a meaning to do that because they have a destination to post all those activities. Number 2, these micro activities will be super valuable activities when they're creating a profile to apply to some top universities. So even if whichever class or standard or grade your child is now, give a profile like this and ask them to include each and every achievements they have, micro achievements they have into that profile. It includes, like, you know, your academic achievements, your sports achievements, your voluntary activities, entrepreneurship experience, leadership experience, team dynamic experience, training programs attended, not curricular activities, certifications, blah, 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 whatever it is. This is 1 point. And the 12th point, after all this exercise, you may be thinking like, you know, are we putting too much of pressure on children or making them excessive careerists by taking such serious steps? Because we have discussed something very serious about children. I would say no. Why? Because this is an UK study. 76% of children turn to parents while deciding higher studies and career. 76%. This is in Europe, among European kids, a study did by the University of Derby in UK. And this is more in India or in the eastern part of the world for sure. That means children are expecting more from you in the right angle. But what we think is children will be more influenced by their friends. Yes, it is. But to take the serious decision, they would be relying upon you. So you need to take up that responsibility. What we are doing now is evading the responsibility and saying that you decide. That's absolutely evading the responsibility. So they are looking on you to help them to take the decision. But you have to create the ecosystem for them to come to you and tell the same. That interest would also be hidden in their mind. But to get it evoked and get them open up, you need to create the right ecosystem, as I mentioned in point number 10. And now another study says career decision making and self-efficacy of children increases with the involvement of guidance and support of experts, including parents. So if you're intervening in the decision making, you are in fact improving the efficacy of their decision making, and you are doing the responsibility you are supposed to do, or you should do. So this is how I want to complete my session. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you very much for your patient listening. Thank you very much for the good participation and also the questions. Thank you very much. And I would be creating, I already told you what we do. I will be creating some details for how exactly you can access the Lifology ecosystem and share with the team. I'm looking forward to see you there. Thank you very much. Over to you.
So thank you, Praveen. I think it was one of the best sessions that we had in our TKM fraternity, where we had even 60 people still in the session towards the end of the session. So this is one way.
Thank you, Sajid. In fact, it was going on very well. I really wanted to continue, but why I was limited with 3 questions at that point is like, so I need to leave this hotel in another 15 minutes time to catch my next flight. So that's why. Sorry for not taking all the questions. Yeah,
that's fine. Even I think the efforts you have put in elaborately answer each question. I think that's what keeping us all interested in this session. So I think we are going to close the session. I think I invite our patron, Uni sir, to deliver the vote of thanks.
I'm on mute. Yeah, okay. Hi all. Good morning. We are still on morning. Yeah,
morning.
Okay.
Yes, morning.
Yeah, so we just finished a wonderful session on how parents can guide their children. This was conducted as a part of our ongoing seminar sessions conducted by this year office bearers. I hope all parents are very happy now, because Praveen is also of the opinion that you can intervene into the kids' career and make them confused. Sorry. Okay, so that is exactly always we wanted to be, but we always had a doubt like, is that the correct step one should be taking? Now Praveen is also of that opinion. So you can go ahead and continue to be a tiger mother or parent. Jokes apart, we know how methodically now we can intervene into the child's career planning. We hope there are a lot of takeaway from this session, and we can implement in helping the children. The one I know Praveen has to catch up with the flight. I don't want. Yesterday he actually missed the flight. Right. So the one important, the last question raised by I think that Mrs. Hasib Rashid, and the answer to that one was very catching and very, very relevant. That just a few words about it. Okay, it is very true that the world is changing in a very tremendous pace. The pace of change is increasingly, at its peak, and it is going to be much higher and higher on going forward. It was not like what we used to be. The change was very slow then. Now it is not that. So the very important, the coaching that you can give to your children, as Praveen rightly said, is adapt them for the change. Teach them how to adapt to the changes. Thank you, Praveen. So my job is here to give the vote of thanks. So let me get on to that. On behalf of TKMCE Alumni UAE Chapter, I would like to thank Praveen for accepting our request for making this session over here. Thank you, Praveen. Also, on behalf of TKMCE Alumni, I would like to thank all the members present over here and their friends for making this session a grand success. We are also planning a couple of such sessions. I mean, the original plan is to have at least one session in a month that we'll be planning and putting forward to you. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, official meeting is closed. I think we can chat or chit chat if needed. I think Praveen, you can leave in case you have to check out. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you all. Glad to meet you all. Thank you very much. Looking forward to connecting again. Bye-bye.